Judge Frank Caprio, known affectionately as America's kindest judge, presides over the municipal court in Providence, Rhode Island. His courtroom is unlike any other, a place where justice and compassion meet, creating moments that touch the hearts of people around the world. One chilly morning, Judge Caprio took his seat on the bench, his warm smile greeting the packed courtroom. As the proceedings began, a middle-aged man named Carlos Rivera was called to the stand. Carlos was charged with a traffic violation, speeding in a school zone. Carlos walked slowly to the podium, his shoulders slouched and his eyes downcast. He wore a tattered jacket and scuffed shoes, signs of a life burdened by struggles. Judge Caprio's kind gaze settled on him, sensing there was more to the story. "Good morning, Mr. Rivera," Judge Caprio said. "You're charged with speeding in a school zone. How do you plead?" Carlos hesitated, then spoke softly. "Guilty, Your Honor." "Can you tell me what happened?" the judge asked, leaning forward slightly, his tone encouraging. Carlos took a deep breath. I didn't mean to speed, Your Honor. My son, he has asthma, and he had an attack that morning. I was rushing him to the hospital. I wasn't thinking about anything else but getting him help." The courtroom fell silent. Carlos's voice cracked as he continued, "I know I broke the law, and I'm not trying to make excuses. But my son's life was on the line." Judge Caprio nodded thoughtfully. "Is your son okay now?" he asked gently. Carlos's face softened, and he nodded. "Yes, thank God. He's recovering well." The judge paused, glancing down at the ticket before looking back at Carlos. "Mr. Rivera, I understand the urgency you must have felt as a parent. You were trying to save your son's life, and any parent would do the same. But speeding in a school zone is a serious matter. The law exists to protect children, and we have to respect it." Carlos lowered his head, bracing for the fine he couldn't afford. Judge Caprio continued, his voice kind but firm. "The fine for this violation is $300. However," he leaned back in his chair, a small smile playing on his lips. "Given the circumstances, I believe this was an act of necessity rather than negligence. I'm going to dismiss this case." The courtroom murmured in surprise and admiration. "Thank you, Your Honor," Carlos said, his voice shaking. "You don't know what this means to me." Judge Caprio wasn't finished. "Before you go, I want to make sure your son has everything he needs. Do you need assistance with medical expenses or transportation?" Carlos looked up, tears welling in his eyes. "We're managing, but it's been hard. Thank you for asking." The judge turned to his clerk. "Let's connect Mr. Rivera with local resources to make sure his family gets the support they need." The courtroom broke into applause. It wasn't just a case being resolved, it was a human connection being made, a reminder that justice doesn't have to be cold or detached. As Carlos left the courtroom, he turned back and said, "You're not just a judge, Your Honor. You're a good man." "Thank you." Judge Caprio smiled warmly. "Take care of your family, Mr. Rivera. That's what matters most." This moment, like so many others in Judge Caprio's courtroom, exemplified his philosophy: justice is about understanding, and the law should always serve the people with compassion. His unique approach continues to inspire millions, proving that even in the confines of a courtroom, humanity can shine brightly.